Hello Rhinos, why the low carb diet works so well for type 2 diabetics. Why am I qualified to talk about this? Well, in March 2018, I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and within 6 months, I managed to reverse my condition, and I want to help you do the same. So why a low carb diet so good for type 2 diabetics? Well, first of all, I want to address two things. First, going on a low carb diet does not mean going on a low calorie diet. Low calorie diets do not work, okay? It is a proven fact that they do not work. You still need to eat a healthy amount of calories on a low carb diet. And also, the second one, most foods have carbohydrates in, but the foods you eat on a low carb diet are what we call slow releasing carbs, okay? This means that it releases energy into your body slowly, where when you're on a high carb diet, it releases it quickly. So as a result, your blood sugar goes up, it crashes, you want to eat again very quickly after that. Don't have that problem on a low carb diet. So what are the 4 benefits of a low carb diet to a type 2 diabetic? Well, the first benefit is your body doesn't need to produce as much insulin. First, you need to understand how your body is meant to work and how your body works now. How your body is meant to work is that when you eat food, the food gets turned into glucose in our bloodstream. That goes through our bloodstream, and all the millions of cells in our body, then what it wants to do, it wants to absorb that energy, but it can't do it by itself. So your pancreas produces a hormone called insulin. And then when that releases that insulin, all the cells in your body can absorb that energy. Now, any excess energy after that gets stored in your muscles and in your liver, and that's what we call glycogen. And then the excess energy from there gets turned into fat in your fat cells. Okay, so that's how your body is meant to work. But how your body works now is very different. When you eat the food, it gets turned into glucose. As it goes through your system, your pancreas produces insulin, and then the cells ignore the insulin, and that's called insulin resistance. Okay, and as a result, more of that energy that you eat gets stored in your fat, and the fat then causes lots of other problems for you as a type 2 diabetic, which I'm not going to get into in this video. So how does low carb food allow you to produce less insulin? Well, because you're putting the low carb food into your body, it releases the energy slowly, so you don't feel as hungry all of the time. So as a result, your body doesn't need to produce as much insulin. Now, if you ever talk to someone who injects insulin into their body, one of the things that they'll tell you, excess insulin actually makes you feel more hungry. So not having as much insulin in your body as well will mean that you yet again not feel the need to eat as much, which leads us into the second benefit, in that it helps you to lose weight. Okay, so how does it help you to lose weight? Well, when you're on a low carb diet, what you eat is slow releasing carbs and fat. These are the main focuses of the food that you eat. So why is this a good thing? Well, our body, it burns energy in 2 different ways, from carbs and through burning fat, which produces what we call ketones, which is where you get the ketosis. Okay, so why does it do this? Well, it does this because our bodies have evolved to live in a society, a feast and famine society. I know we don't live there now, but when you look at the whole overall period of humanity, this is just a small period of time where we live in a feast society all of the time. So the reason why it did it during a feast and famine society was because we're in the summer and in the autumn, when food was plentiful, we would eat that food and the excess energy gets stored as fat. When it came then to the winter and the spring, it would burn the fat for energy when food wasn't as plentiful. So actually it's a really, really clever thing that it does that. Now, you might have experienced this already as a type 2 diabetic, because as a type 2 diabetic, for some of us, especially was for me, what happens is you end up losing a load of weight really, really quick. But I ended up getting a real big burst of energy. But I couldn't explain why I was losing weight, but as fast as I was. But I did have all this energy, which was great for my job and things like that, you know, and all the work I was doing there, because I had all this energy all of a sudden. But what was actually happening was, because my body was ignoring the insulin to absorb the energy into the cells were getting the energy from my fat. Okay, so I'd gone into ketosis. Now, if you just burn energy from your fat and you're not conscious of it, you're not consciously managing that scenario, right, that can be a really dangerous thing. Okay, so what a low carb diet does, it allows your body to get balance. Okay, because you're producing less, you're eating less carbs and having low releasing carbs, you're cutting down on the insulin. The cells get much better at absorbing the carbs that you are eating, and then once it's absorbed that energy from those carbs, then it starts to burn the fat in your body. And if you want to reverse your type 2 diabetes, you've got to be able to get rid of the fat around your liver and around your pancreas. It's vitally important. So eating a food that does that is going to get you on the road to doing that. And the third benefit of going on a low carb diet as a type 2 diabetic is that it reduces hunger. And I've probably covered this already yet again. But when we eat high carb foods, we know we're full, because our body, if stomach feels stretched out, okay, because all the muscles in the body are all stretched out. You know that feeling. You have to undo the top button. Yeah, you know the one, especially Christmas Day, right? Okay. Now, because I've always said, like, high carb foods, the best way to explain high carb foods really in my mind is like, just imagine the old films where they had the gunpowder in a barrel and they make a line of the gunpowder, and what they do, they light it and it burns really, really quick and everyone runs away. Yeah, and then it goes poof. So that's like high carb foods for me. It makes your blood sugar go up really high and it crashes really, really fast. And as a result, what happens is you go and eat some chocolate, you get some biscuits, you get some crisps, you end up snacking up until the high meal, and just the whole pattern just continues and continues. When you eat the low carb foods and you're now burning energy from your fat, what happens is you don't feel the need to snack as much, and so as a result, it reduces your hunger. You just don't feel as hungry. You feel fine. You don't feel the need to eat as much food. It's just the way it is. You know, it's a bit hard to explain it in a scientific way, but that's just what happens. The last benefit of going on a low carb diet for type 2 diabetics is it really, really helps with sugar addiction. You have to accept the fact that you're a sugar addict. Now, and you're not going to know that you're a sugar addict until you stop trying to eat as much sugar. Okay, I remember when I started eating real food, I didn't have a problem with eating real food. I really, really liked it. Okay, eating food which had more fats in it was really, really tasty, and I was really, really enjoying it. But what I discovered, that I had a massive problem in my brain with trying to stop myself from eating sugary food when it was put in front of me. So I'll give you an example. I went out with some friends and someone bought a pack of chocolate chip cookies and they stuck them in the middle of the table. Now, to begin with, I was doing well with resisting and eating them. Everyone was eating the cookies and I thought they won't be there very long, so I don't need to resist for very long. But then we got to the last cookie. And we all know what happens. No one wants to be the person that eats the last cookie, right? Okay, so this cookie ended up in the middle of the table for about half an hour, and it was all I could do to stop my hand from just picking up the cookie and putting it in my mouth in an unconscious fashion. I was focused on that, and that's all I could think about. That's all I could think about, was stopping myself from doing that. And in the end, I just ended up shouting to everyone in the room, someone eat the cookie. Now I've taken a word out of that sentence, so but someone did eat the cookie, and as a result, the desire to eat the cookie went away. And you've all been in this position, if you're honest with yourself. You know, we've all gone and bought that big bar of chocolate, yeah, and we've all said to ourselves, now we're only going to have 2 rows, we're going to make this last. And we've even eaten the 2 rows and wrapped it up and put it down, but by the end of the night, that chocolate is gone. And I've had occasions where I didn't even remember eating it, let alone enjoying it in any shape or form, which was really, really worried. It made me realize that I was a sugar addict. But yet again, like I want to stress, you got to get through the sugar addiction. But what you find with going on a low carb diet is because you're eating low releasing carbs and you're taking the energy from your fat due to the diet that you're on, that as a result you don't feel the need to snack as much and eat as much. You feel satiated for longer. So there are the 4 benefits to type 2 diabetics going on a low carb diet. I'm going to put a video here of foods that you can eat on a low carb diet. And remember, you're no longer a number, you're a rhino. Now charge.